right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order. The time is 7:30. This is the regular council meeting for September 29th. Clerk, can you please do a roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Bliss.
I'm here.
Councilman Fleming.
Here.
Councilman Meir.
Here.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Here.
Councilman Soltis.
Here.
Councilor Wright.
Here.
And Mayor Grafstein.
I am here, thank you. The invocation and pledge this evening will be led by Councilman Soltis. I invite you to stand if you would like.
Before we begin tonight, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the tragic loss of life that occurred here at the Grand Blanc. Our thoughts go out with the families, friends, and all those affected by this heartbreaking event. Please join me in the moment of silence for their memory. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first up this evening, can I please get a motion to appoint Annette Voucher as our acting city clerk?
Your Honor, so moved.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor. Support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. Next up, we have approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions this evening? All right, seeing none, we're going to move into presentations. We have one, it's for the fire department. It's for 2025 Fire Prevention Proclamation. Whereas the city of Madison Heights is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in Madison Heights and visiting, and whereas fire remains a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and the presence of lithium-ion batteries in many household devices introduces unique fire risks, and whereas most of the electronics used in homes daily, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, power tools, e-bikes, e-scooters, and toys, are powered by lithium-ion batteries, which, if misused, damaged, or improperly charged, can overheat, start a fire, or explode. And whereas the National Fire Protection Association reports an increase in battery-related fires, underscoring the need for public education on the safe use of lithium-ion batteries, and whereas residents should follow 3 key calls to action: buy only listed products, charge batteries safely, and recycle them responsibly to prevent battery-related fires. And whereas lithium-ion batteries store a large amount of energy in a small space, and improper use, such as overcharging, using off-brand chargers without safety certification, or exposing batteries to damage, can result in fire or explosion. And whereas the proper disposal and recycling of lithium-ion batteries help prevent environmental hazards and reduce fire risks in the home and community. And whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme, Charge into Fire Safety, Lithium-Ion Batteries in Your Home, serves to remind us of the importance of using, charging, and recycling lithium-ion batteries safely to reduce the risk of fires in homes and communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Madison Heights City Council hereby proclaims October 5th to 11th of 2025 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the city, and urges all residents to safely use, handle, and dispose of lithium-ion batteries properly. And accepting this will be our Fire Marshal. Fire Marshal Nate. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My name is Nate Figueroa. I'm the Fire Marshal. I'd like to thank the City Manager, the Mayor, and Council for recognizing 2025 as Fire Prevention Week and helping us bring attention to this year's theme, which is lithium-ion battery safety. Within the last couple months, in my time in this position as Fire Marshal, we've already had multiple lithium-ion battery incidences. One of them resulted in significant damage to a home. Thankfully, nobody was injured, but it's a reminder of how quickly these incidents can happen and the importance of prevention. As you heard in the proclamation, these batteries are found in virtually every device that we use. our phones, our tablets, scooters, power tools, and the ever so frequent vape pens that we see everywhere. Overcharged or used improperly, they can overheat, start a fire, and even explode. More resources on lithium-ion battery safety, including practical tips on charging, storage, and recycling, are available on the city website at madison-heights.org/prevention under the Fire Department tab as well. On behalf of the Fire Chief, our firefighters, and the Fire Prevention Division, I'd like to thank the council for the support through Fire Prevention Week and help keeping the community safe. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have meeting open to the public. This is the opportunity for the public to speak. I ask that you speak at this podium, address your comments to me, take 3 minutes, give your name, address, any affiliation with the city. And with that, I open public comment.
Well, good evening. I'm Kathy Sapia, a 50-year resident and homeowner of the residential neighborhood of Dartmouth, Karam Drive, and Bel Air Streets. On September 16, the Planning Commission had a meeting, and for 2.5 hours, we all discussed the topic of the Dartmouth expansion project. I realize that the meeting wasn't taped, and you'll probably get notes on the meeting. But my purpose today is to give you a replay from my notes from that night. 1, when it was my turn to speak, I asked the residents of our neighborhood to stand up. We had 15 to 20 people in attendance, and they weren't paid. 2, about 6 to 7 neighbors stood up to emphasize the traffic congestion, 170-car parking lot, morning delivering garbage trucks, and headlights at night coming down the alley. 3, one board member mentioned that accidents on 12 Mile in Dartmouth were twice that of 12 Mile in Stevenson. 4, if you go down 12 Mile, you'll see it's like a brick, cement wall, whatever. You've got commercial, you've got residential. You've got to keep that, because what happened was this owner bought a house to encroach that line. And that changes the neighborhood. It changes everything. It's not just traffic. When a board member asked Mr. Nager, your gas station is next to this property. Couldn't you just get those parking spaces and maybe an alternate route for 12 Mile access from your gas station? Mr. Nager's response was an emphatic, no, no, no. I won't ask my business partners to do that. Really? He's asking us. And 5, the Gump restaurant representative happily described the following: 170-car parking lot, a staff of 60 people with double shifts on weekends, closing at 11 p.m., working with the police to ensure safe driving. And on Wednesdays, Biffy the Clown would do magic tricks and balloons for kids' night. The neighbors groaned, and I'm sure the Nager group saw dollar signs. It's traffic, but it's also the quality of life and the safety in the neighborhood. I'm going to end with a quote from my favorite movie, The Godfather. It's not personal, it's business. Well, I disagree. It's personal. It's personal to all of us living in the neighborhood. When you look at the information from the September 16 planning meeting, look at it from a personal view, as if you lived in our neighborhood. And I hope when this council meets again on October 13, a no vote will be the correct vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak this evening? Please, up to the podium.
Hi, my name is Barb, and I've been a resident of Madison Heights for probably 15, 20 years. I had a concern regarding fencing, regulations, changes, and I wanted to know if residents have a right to vote on changes, and does it violate my private property rights? And can the city legally allow a neighbor to remove my fence without my consent? That happened about 2-3 weeks ago. So I was in touch with code enforcement as my fence was being torn down. And when he arrived, he said both neighbors need to be in agreement. I said absolutely not. And then had to deal with intimidation from him. And I felt it was aggravated harassment when he demanded I come up with a receipt for my fence. He allowed the tear down and ignored me and said I should be happy about a new fence. It's going to bring down property value, and I'm having extreme difficulty getting my car in and out of the garage. What happens during winter months? Is the city obliged to enforce zoning laws? And my garage is in my backyard. I have a single driveway, and the fence goes all the way to the front of his property. I think there should be a certain distance between the fence and, the neighbor's property. And I wanted to know if that could be enforced.
Okay, so we can't really give you any, this is new to me, so what I'm going to ask you to do, if you could write down your name, your phone number, your address, don't give it to us publicly, if you could do that and give it to the gentleman sitting right there, then I can have somebody look into it and get back to you.
Okay.
Okay.
I actually have been in touch
Okay.
with the city, but they said it's their property, they could do whatever they want. There's cameras pointing down the driveway. Like I said, it's kind of a nuisance, and people have looked at it. And I just wanted to know, whose idea was it to change the laws when that fence has always been, the homeowner's property for so long? So I'll jot down the info.
All right, thank you, and we'll have someone look into it, thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak this evening? Okay, seeing no one, I'm going to close public comment, and we are going to move to the consent agenda. There are 2 items on the consent agenda. The first is from the Director of Public Services, 2025-26 RCOC Winter Maintenance Agreement, and then the City Council regular meeting minutes of September 8th. Can I please get a motion to approve?
Your Honor. Motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor. Support.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. The next up we have from the Deputy City Manager, City Clerk, the State and Local Cybersecurity Grant Program Agreement.
As part of the discussion of the Information Technology Advisory Committee and as a response to the strategic planning is to gain more credibility and trust in our digital footprint as a governmental entity, to enhance our cybersecurity and prevent malicious actors, as well as follow best practices, and to migrate to a .gov domain was recommended. The city has applied for and received a full grant funding for this project in the amount of $18,488. The project will support the acquisition and implementation of a .gov domain for the city. Staff recommends that council approve the fiscal year 2023 state and local cybersecurity grant program agreement in the amount of $18,488 to convert to a .gov domain and have the city clerk sign on behalf of the city.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion from council to approve?
Your Honor, I move that we approve the fiscal year 2023 state and local cybersecurity grant program grant agreement in the amount of $18,488 to convert to a .gov domain, and then to have the city clerk sign on behalf of the city.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor.
All support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes.
this has been one, I would say my white whale for many years on council. I remember the very first ITAC meeting that we had. Was brought up then. Why do we not have MadisonHeights.gov? The .org is actually dangerous. So people can spoof and pretend to be the city of Madison Heights much easier with a .org. .gov, in order to even obtain the .gov, we have to undergo a full rigorous verification process to prove that we are a governmental entity. All of the .govs are managed directly by CISA, which is the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency of the U.S. And so they have minimum requirements in all .govs. Everything has to use HTTPS to make sure that everything that's done on that site is fully secure. And it has a clear sense of trust and legitimacy that I think we've just been missing out on. So I'm very enthusiastic, not just in favor of this, but I'm also really, really happy that we were able to get a grant to do this. It was worth the 12 years of waiting, I think, to not have this paid for by the taxpayers. But hopefully that we can continue these investments in cybersecurity, because it's not an if, it's a when. I've been working in cybersecurity now for 5 years, and everyone will be affected. Every city will eventually be affected. And so what are you doing to mitigate your risk? And this .gov transfer absolutely does that for the city of Madison Heights. So thank you to staff for making this happen.
All right, thank you. Any other comments?
Your Honor, it says a fiscal year '23 grant, is that correct?
That is accurate.
Okay.
It's taken that long for the grant to get approved.
That's crazy.
All right, any other questions, comments?
Yeah, Your Honor, just to hit on that point, yeah, you would think it's fairly easy to just change 3 letters, and it's not quite that simple. And a lot of work has gone into changing it and getting it secure, and like Mayor Pro Tem Bliss said, thankfully we got a grant to cover that cost, and it has taken some time to get there, but well worth the effort. Congratulations to staff for finally seeing it through. It's, much needed.
All right, thank you. Any other comments?
Your Honor, do we know when the change will be set, and, when it will be taking effect?
I do not have the exact date, but hopefully in the next 3 to 6 months. It's going to necessitate quite a few things. Not only do we have to apply for and get the domain, but we have to change business cards and all that. So we're just now starting, but the first step is to approve the grant.
All right, any other, yes?
Your Honor, just as a quick clarification for the residents too, that the old URL will still forward to the new one. So if somebody goes to the .org that they've always used, they're still going to be there. It'll redirect to the .gov.
All right, thank you. Any other comments, questions? All right. Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. And then we have 3 ordinances. So the first is from the city planner, ordinance number 2205. It's the second reading. This is the city-initiated rezonings of PRZN 25-01, -02, -03, -04, and -06. It does not include -05.
So the City of Madison Heights is initiating a proactive rezoning of several qualified properties to RMN, which is residential mixed neighborhood, RMF, residential multifamily, and MUI2, which is mixed-use innovation 2, or B1, neighborhood business district. The purpose of these rezonings is to better align zoning and existing land use patterns, the city's master plan, and adjacent street networks. This process is intended to increase opportunities for building and expansion and development while ensuring that all current uses remain permitted. The following properties are included in this rezoning request. 2501 is 555 East 13 Mile, It's going from R1 to RMN. 25-02 is 1434 East 13 Mile. It's going from R2 to RMF. 25-03, 30801 DeQuinda Road, which is going from R2 to MUI2. 25-04, which is 1042 East 12 Mile Road, which is going from R3 to RMN. And last, 25-06, the eastern 130 feet of 30728 John R. Road, which is going from R2 to B1. The Planning Commission has recommended that the case PRZN 25-05, which is located at 500 West Gardenia Avenue, be withdrawn from further analysis. Staff recommends that City Council adopt on second reading ordinance 2205 covering PRZN 2501 through 2504 and including 2506.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that we adopt ordinance 2205 on second and final reading.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor?
Go ahead.
No, you can go.
Your Honor, can we have our planner talk about what kind of buildings we can have that can be built in a residential mixed neighborhood for our residents? Because I think there's a misunderstanding about whether we can have an apartment complex or what can be built, what kind of residential buildings could be built there.
Sure.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, everyone. The RMN district, it's a new district in our zoning ordinance. It stands for Residential Mixed Neighborhood. And the intent behind that district is to allow what's called missing middle housing. These are the housing types that are in between a single-family detached home and a larger apartment complex. So this district would allow for duplexes, townhomes, triplexes, and quadplexes, which are 3 and 4 units. So the maximum number of units you could get on one parcel would be 4 units. However, they would still be subject, any 4-unit building, duplex, triplex, would still be subject to the same dimensional standards as a single-family home in that district. So the intent behind that is to, if you're going to have a 3 or 4-unit building, it has the same appearance or is very similar appearance to a single-family detached home from the street. Realistically, or the intent is that you wouldn't even know it's a quadplex from the street because there'd be one door, essentially, instead of 4. But that's the RMN district. I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
Oh, that was it. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yes, Your Honor. So this particular issue is probably the one that I have received the most direct, angry messages on in my entire 12 years on council, which is really crazy to me. So I want to clear up a few things on this. So these are all churches. This was necessitated because we had a couple of churches that had gone out of business. One sold to a daycare, and it took multiple meetings for them to get through because when this original zoning was created to have a church, you needed to be single-family residential in order to be able to be a church. And so it didn't matter if the church was inside a neighborhood or sitting on a main road. And so by keeping it that way all those years, I kind of liken this to cleaning up the bans on things like spas and pool halls in our cities, because sometime somebody thought we were going to have like the Jets and the Sharks battling it out. This is kind of the same thing. The idea originally, as I understand it, was that a church is a residential use, and it didn't matter where it was. Well, now our zoning allows for churches to be on many different zoning definitions. And so we can do those designations that aren't just a single-family home based on where those properties sat. So I requested Planning Commission and staff to look into it. We debated this over multiple meetings, one property at a time, really trying to identify what could and should go there if there was any chance. Staff did a great job of reaching out to every single one of these churches, of which every single pastor let us know that they were in favor of this change. A couple even came to our planning commission meeting and were thankful about this initiative because it opens up possibilities for them if they ever were going to do anything in the future. And so this doesn't change their use now. They will continue to operate as churches in the city, but if at any time they ever decided not to, we're not having to go through 4 meetings where they're having to pay attorneys to change the zoning to put something on a main road that should be on a main road. This is a common sense solution to a problem that could be down the road. So instead of dealing with it one at a time as it comes in, we're being proactive.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. Then we have from the city planner ordinance 2206. This is the first reading. This is the zoning ordinance text amendment, ZTA 25-01, non-conforming residential driveways.
Section 7.310C of the new Madison Heights zoning ordinance contains use-specific standards for residential driveways. As a majority of single-family detached homes and their associated driveways in Madison Heights were constructed prior to the adoption of the new zoning ordinance, there are many cases of legally non-conforming driveway conditions throughout the city. Recently, staff has had to deny many applications for the replacement of non-conforming driveways. This is due to Article 13 nonconformities of the zoning ordinance, which requires non-conforming site elements to be brought up to code when replaced. Permit denials have understandably led to frustration of those property owners due to the impracticality of alternate driveway designs or the cost-time factor of going in front of the ZBA for a variance. To avoid an abundance of cases in front of the ZBA, staff recommends several zoning text amendments which would allow certain non-conforming residential driveways to be replaced in kind. Staff proposes text amendments to the following sections of the zoning ordinance. Section 7.310, use-specific standards for detached one-family dwellings. Section 10.2.1, parking of motor vehicles in residential districts. And sections 13.1.6, non-conforming site elements. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on September the 19th, after which they recommended approval of the proposed text amendments as written. Staff recommends that City Council conduct the first reading of Ordinance 2206 and schedule the second and final reading for the October 13th City Council meeting.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor, I move the council conducts the first reading for ordinance 2206, and that's ZTA 25-01, and schedule the second and final reading for October 13th.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. And then finally, from the DPS Director, ordinance number 2207. This is the first reading. It's the requirement for recycling and trash carts.
The city has moved to standardized waste collection practices to improve efficiency, safety, reduce cost, and increase compliance with regional recycling standards. Residents will now be required to use uniform receptacles for trash and recycling to allow for automated collection equipment, decrease worker injuries, and increase service efficiency. The revised ordinance amends Ordinance 517, Chapter 14, Sections 1410, 1411, and 1416 to require the use of city-approved recycling and trash carts for all residential garbage and recycling collection. It is recommended that City Council approve the revised ordinance requiring use of the city-approved trash and recycling carts as presented on first reading and schedule the second reading for October the 13th.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor, I move that council approves the revised ordinance requiring the use of city-approved trash and recycling carts as presented on first reading and schedule the second reading for October 13th.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor. Support.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor?
Yes?
I'm going to ask the question that I asked before we went to the carts-only model, which is, what are the specific penalties if somebody fails to use those cards? They just put out their trash. Is it the trash doesn't get picked up and then we cite them for littering? Like what are the fees and fines if there are issues? Because I have a hard time supporting the ordinance without knowing how we're penalizing people if they don't do it.
I will have to get back to you on the exact fees, but code enforcement will be going out and first giving warnings to everybody. And then they will be following that up with code enforcement violation tickets, because if you just toss your trash out at the street, it's not going to be picked up. So I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, or,
I think we need to, Your Honor, I think we need to review what the penalties are and report back to council on it.
Your Honor, I will vote yes tonight, but I'd like to see that, and I'd like our residents to see that when we adopt it on second reading, because I think it's an important element of this. By saying it's required, but not saying what the penalties are if somebody chooses not to do it, I think it's only halfway there.
All right, thank you. Mr. Sherman, this is something that we can get by the next meeting?
Certainly, yes.
Okay. All right, any other questions, comments?
Your Honor,
Yes?
I totally support Mayor Pro Tem Bliss's comments there. I don't want anybody to be subjected to a harsh penalty for their trash at the same time either. But, you know, I don't want to vote on something that isn't complete. So I want to make a motion to table this to the next meeting.
Your Honor, just,
Oh, go ahead.
Councilman Fleming, we're going to get this back on second reading.
Oh, okay.
So as long as that's in the report for second reading, I believe that would satisfy us.
All right.
well, and that was the understanding of putting first reading, because it begins on October the 1st, the cart usage. So we have this on for first reading with the understanding that depending on the comments today, we would revise it ahead of second reading. So Jeffrey and I have already discussed that.
Okay. Does that work?
That's sufficient, yeah.
Okay. So yes, as long as this is going to be taken care of by the next meeting, the second reading, then I'm fine with this, because I do have the same concerns as well. Any other questions or comments?
Your Honor, I just have a question.
Yes.
Is there a penalty or is there a consequence? Like, is there an actual fee that someone have to pay? Just out of curiosity.
Well, that's what we're discussing.
what we're trying to
Right
figure
now,
out.
there will be a warning, and then it would move into the code enforcement ticket violations. But the
Okay.
actual penalties for that, I don't know off the top of my head. So we'll have to make sure that that's included.
Okay.
Your Honor, just for the record, so Councilman Fleming is withdrawing his substitute motion
I
to
am.
table?
I'm withdrawing it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All right. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. And that is it for the meeting. So I invite closing comments, starting with Councilman Muir.
Thank you, Your Honor. On the topic of trash cans, I feel like I'm reverting back to my childhood. I actually enjoy watching the mechanical truck come down my street and grab those trash cans and dump them and put them right back where it got them from. So I remember when I was a little boy watching the garbage man go down the street, and I found myself doing that the last couple of weeks again. And the wonderful thing about those is I haven't seen them drop any trash yet. I haven't seen them throw the cans in the middle of the street. Very efficient. They're down my street and done in a couple of minutes. So a lot of the concerns that we have had with priority, I'm hoping will get better. Just a reminder that it does start next week. It's trash cans only. And remember to give that 3 or 4 foot buffer in between your trash cans. There's still lots of fun things going on in the city. October 4th, we're doing the downtown touchdown down at the 11 Mile Streetscape, and October 11th, we're doing Harvest Fest at Rosie's Park. The weather has been actually gorgeous for September and October, so hopefully that continues for these events. And keep checking out the Parks and Recs and library boards and active adult centers, websites, for all the fun stuff going on. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Pro Tem Bliss?
Yes, Your Honor. So the JARS dispensary opened over the weekend. And I wanted to take a moment because I saw some social media posts, and I think the discussion around cannabis in our city I think it needs to be a little bit reframed in a sense. There was a lot of people worried about, there was a huge crowd and there was all this traffic, but you don't have the same issues in the city when it's like a beer tent at a festival. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, but I think there's a lot of decades of misinformation and social stigma that's at play here. A lot of the risks of assuming or consuming common substances like alcohol, prescription narcotics, or even over-the-counter painkillers like Tylenol and ibuprofen have significant risks associated with them at nearly every age, but those are all socially acceptable. That JARS site in particular, the two buildings that it took over, one was a dilapidated old hydraulics building that had been vacant for at least a decade. And then the other building was a liquor store. And so those two things were knocked down to build that new cannabis shop, which is, you know, a multi-million-dollar investment into that building and into that space and into that corner. But all the folks who believe, and I do know that there has to be some number and some threshold, but why are we not having the same conversation of thresholds as it relates to like liquor stores within the community? Alcohol is the leading cause of preventable death and disease. It's directly linked to liver cirrhosis, heart damage, a ton of different cancers. Fatal overdose is a huge danger. Drunk driving kills people day after day after day. And we're so focused on how bad Marijuana Heights is that I think we're forgetting to look at the bigger picture. If somebody chooses and they're going to take anything, if they were taking and binge drinking alcohol versus taking an edible, it is much better for our city and for their individual health, the science says, to take the edible. So again, I'm not a medical professional. I do encourage people to do their research on it, but I don't love the hypocrisy where we're okay with liquor stores and the proliferation, all the bars and that in our city, but, you know, we're going to have an issue with a grand opening of a building that is not only a multi-million-dollar investment with jobs in our city, but it also is a safer choice for people who are looking for pain management than prescription narcotics are. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I only have a few meetings left, and so, you know, this is one of those times where I just want to share, and I think the importance of having these dialogues. I had posted about this on my personal Facebook about just what do you take in general, and that inspired a really good discussion with folks within the city, including a member of the Community Coalition. And I think that type of dialogue is what we as a city need. We need to have a common discussion around what is best between the choices we have available, and not just decide that something is bad or is great based on our personal bias. So that's it for me, Your Honor. I just wanted to make sure that hopefully this inspires at least one person watching this to have that discussion with their family, because whether it's youth or the elderly or anybody in our city, have a real discussion and have one with your doctor too about what you should be choosing to take. That's it, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to first start off by thanking the sponsors from Reverend in the Heights a couple of weeks back. Despite the rain, we still had a pretty good showing. We had some RC car event. We had a Grand Prix car was there. It was really great. So thank you again to our presenting and title sponsors. Save the date for September 19th for 2026. October is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I want to encourage everyone to check in on yourself and your mental health. You guys might have seen in the news the tragedy that took place yesterday in Grand Blanc, Michigan. My personal thoughts, prayers, well wishes go out to that community. These events are tragic, and they are happening more and more. And so I think that we all need to take a moment to just check in with ourselves. I started a Scream Club because I saw some of those elements here where people are just mad, and whoever is in front of them is the person they're mad at. So I just ask that, some of you guys might know this from, your spiritual days, but just that we make sure our banner over ourselves is love. And so what that means is, like, when people look at you, they see love. They don't see anger, they don't see hostility, they don't see frustration, they see love. And so I put together a statement where I just wanted to say we've grown so divisive as a society that disagreement too often turns into hostility. To disagree with someone should never mean we wish them harm, death, or suffering. We can and should debate passionately, but still hold space for each other's humanity. I pray none of us ever truly get what we deserve. May we instead find grace, mercy, and understanding, even when we disagree. So with that, I just ask everyone to remember to be kind.
Thank you. Mr. Sherman?
Your Honor, I would like to personally thank the mayor and city manager for helping to facilitate a story on one of our remarkable residents, Raymond Kell, who turned 100 last Monday. He has 62 grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren, and has been very active in the city. He was on the Environmental Citizens Committee. Seems like an incredible guy, and so I just want to take the opportunity to wish him a happy 100th birthday and many more. I told a judge on my way out of court today, ran into her, she wasn't on the bench, and I told her the story, and she said, well, her grandmother topped that story because her grandmother's 101 with 115 grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-greats, so kind of amazing from both of them, but thank you both for facilitating that story. That's it. Thank you, Your Honor.
It was our honor. The most amazing thing is he played golf on the City Golf League
I
until he was
didn't-
99, and he even played golf on his birthday, just a hole or two, but it was amazing still. I want to remind everybody that our next council meeting, which is October the 13th, starts a new time, so we are going to be starting the meetings an hour earlier. They are going to start at 6:30, so hopefully that'll help everybody with the time change and it getting dark earlier.
Thank you. Anything from the clerk's office?
The absentee ballots did go out on Friday, September 26th. Voters may still request for ballots by going on to the Secretary of State website, or you can also visit the Madison Heights website under the Clerk's Department, or you can give us a call and we'll send you an application, or you can come in person and apply for an absentee ballot. Our phone number is 248-583-0826. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Rohrbach?
Just a couple things. Mr. Muir mentioned the Harvest Festival. I guess it's a revitalization of a festival that we used to have here in the city of Madison Heights many years ago. It kind of fell to the wayside, and it's happening at Rosie's Park from 12 to 4 on October 11th, and it's going to have cider, donuts, hay rides, things like that. It's going to be really cool. I'm really excited about it, not just because it's the end of my street and I can walk there, but because it's one of those. Rosie's Park is right smack dab in the middle of our city, and people from both sides of 11 Mile can walk there, can get there and enjoy it. So I really hope that everybody comes out and enjoys that. And I want to say a special thank you to the Parks and Rec Department for their initiative and their work on revitalizing this festival. The same day, October 11th, the Friends of the Library are having their next book sale. And I believe they are having it in the flex space inside the library. So super simple to get to. You just walk into the library, and there's the Friends of the Library book sale. And, for those that don't know or have never been to one of the Friends of the Library book sales, it's pay what you want for every single book there. So, and there are books of every kind that you can think of. And if you can think of something that you don't see, I bet you if you ask them, they probably have it in the back because they have every book you can imagine back there. Also, I'm going to put a plug in for the Friends of the Library. They are always looking for volunteers. They are out there at the library sorting through donations and sorting books every weekend and often middle of the week. Volunteers are there during the day and just constantly doing that work. So many hands make light work. So if you are interested, if you like books, you know, they'll show you what to do. It's not hard, but it's, they're good people and they do a lot of work for the city. And, you know, the money that they make from these sales goes right back into the library, into the work that we're doing here in the city. I also want to remind everybody about, you know, a couple weeks ago, we heard from Fire Chief about the Community Connect program. So if you are a resident of the city and you're ever going to need fire help or any kind of help coming to your home, the Community Connect program, you sign up. You just go to the website. It's really just look for a thing that says Community Connect, and you can sign up, and you can tell them, all right, there are these many people. You know, there's a individual in a wheelchair. There are 4 pets. There are whatever it is that's in that house, so that, you know, there's somebody with diabetes. Whatever it is, you can make that on your profile. The fire department can access it when there is an emergency in your home, and then they can come more prepared and aware of what's happening when they walk into the door to help. And I think it's wonderful. I'm very excited for it. And I tell people every time I talk to them these days. So I'm hoping that, you know, whoever's watching here, but also on YouTube, please sign up for that. Just go to Community Connect or go to our website, madisonheights.org, eventually .gov, and then sign up for Community Connect. And I think that's all on my list. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Fleming?
Yeah, I just want to say that I really can't wait for the downtown touchdown that's going to be happening this weekend. You know, it's really been something I've been looking forward to have an event in our downtown space there. I know a lot of cities, you know, we talk about Ferndale and Royal Oak and Birmingham and other cities that have downtowns. And, you know, I know ours is that we don't have all the, you know, businesses that we would like to have in the downtown district. But I think having something there every single year is a big improvement. It'll bring people to that area, and also it's closer for those residents who, you know, feel that everything happens in Civic Center Park, which is actually pretty true. So, unfortunately, so I think that, you know, it'd be a great idea to have more events in the same downtown area as we progress here in the future, and I'm looking forward to it. So.
Thank you. Councilman Soltis? All right. So I've got a few things. So first of all, I want to congratulate Pro Tem Bliss for coming up with ITAC like a decade ago and just starting so many different things. And as we can see, I mean, it was a question tonight for us to change to .gov, and it's not as easy as, oh, let me just make that change. It's, you know, but we've got a grant, and it's from 2023, which Councilor Rohrbach said, is that a typo? What's the deal here? But it really is from 2023 because it takes that long. So he came up with this idea, and this is something that now is finally going to happen. A lot of the things that we do, most of the things we do, take a lot of time. The fact that the churches on the main streets are changing now, they're actually going through pretty quickly in political time because we spent a lot of work prior to that looking at different zoning, looking at changes. Since before I was even on the Planning Commission, and I've been on for 5 years, we were looking at updating the master plan and updating the ordinances to make it so that it is easier for developers to come in and have different housing options. And you know, what we're doing with the churches is just an extension of that. And if we didn't have that all in place, it would have taken longer to do. And as was alluded to earlier, this came about because there was a church on 14 Mile and a daycare said, hey, I want to move in there and put up a daycare. Great, that sounds great. Who's going to say no? Well, our zoning said no. And so the daycare owner had to spend a lot of time and money to get that taken care of. And now we've made these changes that, you know, if you go by any of these churches, you're not going to say, oh, I see the zoning's changed. You're not going to see any of that. But if the churches decide down the road they want to make a change, they want to sell, it's a lot easier now because of things that we've put in place. So just a reminder, these things take a lot of time. I also want to just touch on, there's some confusion with the upcoming council with the November election. So unless Mr. Bliss, Mr. Soltis, or myself make a sudden change in the next month that we're going to do write-ins, and I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty confident that they are not, there are going to be 3 spaces that we're going to have 3 new people on council. The 3 of us will not be back. And every 2 years, the mayor plus 3 or more council spots are up. And so this happens every 2 years where we could be looking at 4 new members or more on council. This year, we're definitely going to have 3 new members on council. And I know that there was some confusion, and I heard some confusion about there being half of council, which isn't true. So I just want to set the record straight there because there seems to be confusion there. Regardless of the outcome of the election, Emily Rohrbach, Sean Fleming, and Quinn Wright will still be on council for another 2 years. So they still have their 1 vote. And just like when they came onto council, they can put forth their ideas, and if a majority of council agrees, it will become policy. Just when Mr. Bliss said that he wanted to do ITAC, it had to be a majority of council. If majority of council, and I wasn't even on at the time, that came in before me, majority of council had said no, it wouldn't have happened. When I said I wanted to reboot the Environmental Citizens Committee, majority of council had to say, yes, we'll do that. So just a reminder that those are some of the things. I've just heard some confusion out there, and I just want to sort of set the record straight on that. With respect to the cannabis in the city, cannabis is a very controversial topic, and I don't want to get too much into it, but when JARS was approved, they were one of the businesses that were approved under the understanding, and it was actually in, I believe in the legal document, I know it was in the vote, that they offered to provide us with some money to put towards whatever we wanted, and we said we wanted to put it towards public safety. Because the concern that I heard from people was that crime is going to go up if cannabis comes into the city. And so just as an example, when you go by the schools and you see the flashing lights telling you that you're speeding, because let's get real, so many people do speed, but even if you're not speeding, when you go by those were funded by the cannabis companies. So just, put it out there. You don't have to like them, but that's just what we chose to do with the money that we were offered. With respect to Raymond Kell, he was completely with it to the point that he went into the next room and he was playing the piano. And I was amazed at how great he was, forget his age. He just did a fabulous job doing it. There's a lot of changes with longevity. People are, older than they used to be. I have, my father's cousin is 107. So, I don't know how, she doesn't have that many kids. So many of these 100-year-olds seem to have large families. Her kids weren't that many, but, it's great. And I give kudos to these families, that they're able to have this and they have the stamina. So just want to leave on that. Our next meeting is going to be October 13th, and as was already mentioned, it is not going to be at 7:30. It is going to be at 6:30. That is our new time going forward. The time now is 8:23, and this meeting is adjourned. Good night.
Those little